Okay, we're starting recording. We're working with Josh doing a GoToMeeting tutoring session on long division. Okay, so the first problem, Josh, I'm going to show you. We're going to do 602. Let me make these lines a little smaller, thinner. There we go. We're going to do 602 divided by 4. We put the little time sign there, remember? Okay. So now the first thing is, Josh, I'm not quite sure if you know your 4s or not. Like if I say what's 4 times 6, I don't know if you're going to say 24 right away or not. So I'm going to assume that you do not know how to do your 4s. So if you don't know how to do your 4s and you do not have a multiplication table with you, the best thing to do is before you even start the problem, we're going to write our 4s over here in green. Okay, so I'm just going to count by 4. So I'm going to write 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. So those are all of my 4s. Now, if you could count by 4s that fast, great. If you could not, you could count on your fingers. But it's important to write them over here so you have a reference in case you get stuck over here. Okay, I'm going to change colors again. Go back to red. Okay, Josh, think now what my first question is. This is the important part. You have to know what this question is. The question is, what times 4 equals 6? So if you look over here, I don't see a 6 anywhere, but I'm going to keep counting by 4s until I get too big. So I go 4, 8. And you should be saying, stop, stop, Mr. Manderfelt. That's too big. You got to go back 1. So it's got to be 4 is the answer. And how many 4s was that? It was 1, right? Because this is 1 4. This is 2 4s, 3 4s, 4 4s, and etc. So the correct answer was 1. So remember the question was how many 4s go into 6? The answer was 1. Now remember the next step is multiply, Josh, so I ask you to touch it. 1 times 4 equals 4. Okay, what do I do next, Josh? You can say it out loud to your dad even though I can't hear you. That's right, subtract. So 6 minus 4 equals 2. And remember, after you subtract, you bring down your 0. Okay? Now it's time to start over. Remember, we got to go back up to the top and ask our next question. Tell your dad what the next question is. You should be saying, what times 4, or how many 4s go into 20? And we can look right over here on our chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. The correct answer is 5. And remember, the answer always goes up on top. So write a 5. Now what do I do, Josh? Should be multiply. So you have to touch it. 5 times 4 equals 20. So you write the 20 below the 20 like that. And you subtract. 20 minus 20 is 0. And remember, after you subtract, you always have to bring down. And notice that I'm using this long arrow so I don't forget what numbers I brought down. Now, some people make the mistake, Josh, and they think the answer is 15 remainder 2 because it's a small number down there. But remember, whenever you bring down, you have to start over. So we need to go back up to the top one more time and ask ourselves, what times 4, or how many 4s go into 2? Now, if we look over here, even if I say a 1 up there, 1 is too big because 4 is bigger than 2. That breaks, remember what I told you about when I was on the Price is Right? It breaks the Price is Right rule because you want to get as close to 2 as you can without going over. So the correct answer cannot be 1. If my question is what or how many 4s go into 2, the correct answer is actually 0. So I have to write up a 0. You can't be scared to write a 0 if the answer is 0. Then you touch it. 0 times 4 is 0. And now it's time to subtract. Now I have a girl in our class, Josh. You sit right by her. Her name is Leslie. And Leslie always gets this part wrong. She thinks that 2 minus 0 equals 0, but it does not. 2 minus 0 equals 2. So you subtract. The next thing you want to do is bring down. But look, there's no more numbers to bring down because I already brought down my 2. That's how you know you are finished. So the correct answer is 50 remainder 2. And remember, I like to circle that, Josh, and put it over 4 like that. 50 remainder 4. So just to review, first thing that I did is I wrote my 4s over here. So if I don't have my multiplication chart, I can look over here to help me. And then I went step by step. Okay? So now it's going to be your turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the presenter to you guys. So I'm going to let you guys be the presenters. I'm going to click here. So when it says, do you want to be the presenter, say yes. And then you're going to pull up Microsoft Paint so I can tell you what problem you have to do. Yep, so go down and just get your paint. Just go click down on the paint down on the bottom. That like paint thing. Yep, not that one, that one. Yep, click on it. Maximize it. Make it so it fills up the whole screen. There you go. Now what you want to do is, do you see those little boxes? We want to make our screen, our size bigger. Go way down to the bottom with your cursor. Those little white boxes. Yeah. No. Go up a little bit. Go over to the corner where there's a little. I can't explain this. There's a little square, a little white square. You want to pull that down to make your canvas area bigger. So, yep, right there. Yep, you got it. Pull it down. Yep, drag it all the way to the corner. Good job. Okay. Okay, now pick the color you want, Josh, for your paintbrush. Pick what color you want. You want brown, gray, just pick one. Click on whichever one. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now towards the top of the screen, write 587 divided by 7. 587. It's okay if it's sloppy. 87 divided by, yep, like the division sign, help them. There you go. Divided by 7. Okay, write your little multiplication sign, Josh, up in the corner. Right above the 7, write a little time sign. Yep, like I make you do. Yeah, you're going to have to erase that because you're going to have to move that over a little bit. So, Josh, go way up to the corner, the upper left-hand corner, and push back. Nope, even a little higher. Go higher, Josh. Go over to that blue arrow that says back. Nope, a little higher. A little higher. You're almost there. To the right one. Yep, click that. Click it. Click it again. Okay. It's okay. Yep. And write your 7. Don't forget your 7. Okay. Now, Josh, I don't think you know your 7s, so I want you to change colors. Go up there and change colors. Go change to a different color, Josh. Josh, pick a color. Pick red or whatever. Pick red. Go click on red, Josh. Okay. Now write your 7s. I'll tell you what they are. Write them right over there. 7. Write 7. Next to it, write 14. It's okay if it's sloppy. Next, write 21. Now you might have to write under it for the next one because it looks like you're running out of room. Or no, you have room. Write 28. Write 35. Yep. Below it, write 42. 42. It's all right, Josh. Don't get frustrated. Just be patient. Okay. 42. 49. 56. It's hard to write with the mouse, I know. And below it, write 63. Okay, Josh. Now go back to change colors again to your yellow, that yellow you like, because now we're going to start our long division problem. Or you can use that color. You can use whatever color you want. Okay. So now, what is your first question? Tell your dad what the first question you're supposed to ask yourself is. I'm going to pause. You tell him what the first question is, and then I'll tell you what the answer is, okay? You should be asking your dad, how many 7s go into 5? You can put a 1 up there because even if you put a 1, 1 times 7 is 7. It's too big, Josh. So your first number up there needs to be a 0. Above the 5, write a 0. There are 0 7s in 5. Okay, now what do? You have to touch it, remember? 0 times 7. What is 0 times 7?
7.
Yep, 0 times 7. No, don't write anything over there, Josh. Nope, go back and... Okay, remember you have to touch it. So, Dad, help him. He needs to, like, put the cursor over the 0. Have him put the cursor over the 0. Yep, he doesn't have to click. And now have him touch the time sign. Kind of move over, and then have him touch the 7. And then he writes the 0 under the 5. There you go. There you go, Josh. Good job. Now what comes next? Remember, subtract, bring down. Yep. And you need a little arrow to bring down that 8. Yep, 5. Good job. You're right. 5 minus 0 is 5. Go way up by the 8, Josh. Higher, 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 Josh. Nope, right below the 8. Just barely below it, and make a little baby arrow. Try to make a little arrow. Going down. A little arrow going down. It's hard to make it small, I know. And put the 8 right next to the 5. Put the 8 right next to the 5 by just writing an 8. Right next to the 5, write an 8. There you go, Josh. You did it. See, so now look what, let's stop, Josh. Don't do anything, because let's look what you did. You asked yourself, how many 7s go into 5? And you told me 0. So then you wrote the answer to the what question up on top, which you did a good job of, and then you touched it. You went 0 times 7 equals 0. Then you subtracted and got 5 and brought down your 8. Good job. Now you need to go back up to the top, Josh, and start again. Okay, what's the next question you should ask your dad? It should be what times 7 equals 58? How many 7s are in 58? So now go over to your red numbers. And yep, it's that one right there. How many was that? Let's count how many that was. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56. It was 8 of them. Josh's dad, you can help him count to understand why that's 8. I'll be quiet. So he's counting to see that there's 8 of them. And the answer always goes on top. So write 8 on top. Good. Now make sure he touches it. He needs to touch it. So take his mouse and make sure he touches 8. Touch the times. Touch the times. Touch the 7. And now below, way down, write 56. 8 times 7 is 56. Good, Josh. And now remember, after you multiply, you have to subtract, bring down. So subtract, and do your arrow to bring down that 7. Yep, what's 58 minus 56 is 2, right? And now go grab your arrow, make your long arrow, and put a 7. Good job. Put the 7 right next to it. Nope, you're going to have to fix that arrow a little bit, Josh. Because you have to put the 7 right next to the 2. Nope, don't like it. Go get the eraser and erase that arrow. You can use the eraser too. You don't always have to use the back arrow. You can. There you go. Just make your line a little bit shorter, Josh. Pull, 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 pull. Stop. That's good enough. There you go. Now put your 7 right next to the 2. There. Good job. Okay. Now just wait, Josh. Look what you just did. You just brought down. Remember, after you bring down, you need to start over. So go back up to the top. Yep. No, not to the right there. Yep. And now ask your dad the question. What's the next question? What times 7 equals 27? Yep. So go back over to your red numbers and take a look. How many? If you go to 28, it's too big. Don't you dare go to 28. You can only go 1, 2, 3 to 21. So how many 7s are in 27? 3. So write 3 above the 8. And I'll be quiet if you want to show them that part. It seems like that part he gets a little stuck on. Good. Now touch it, Josh. Remember, whenever you write a number up there, you need to touch it. So 3. Good. Touch it. 3 times 7. 3 times 7 equals, and if you don't know, you can look back over on the red again. It equals 21. Yep. So you need to write the 21 below the 27. Yep. Remember, after you multiply, then you need to subtract. And bring down. But look, Josh, there's no more numbers to bring down. You already pulled your 7 down. See, because you already pulled all the numbers down, you're done. Your answer is 83, remainder 6. So up on the top, write R6 for remainder 6. That's how you know you're done, because when there's nothing to bring down anymore, you're all done. Okay, Josh, good job. I'm going to switch back to me being the presenter because I want to show you one thing that I noticed you sort of were doing wrong. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to me being the presenter, and you and your dad can just watch. Okay, I'm just going to do a new here. Okay, so you guys did good, Josh. That was really good. The thing I think you might still need, Josh, is to write your letters. That's what I mean. So let me show you something. I'm going to use blue this time. Remember, Josh, how I taught you that we have to remember that funny saying, does McDonald's sell burgers Sundays? What? Remember, because this helps you to remember the steps. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, start over. So watch me do a problem. I'm going to do this one kind of fast, okay? But between you and your dad, you guys can figure this out. I'm going to do this problem right here. I'm going to do 613 divided by 8. Now, remember, we don't know our 8s, so I'm going to write my 8s over on the side in a different color. I'm going to use red like you did, okay? So I have 8, 16, 24, 32, 32. Wait, I just got screwed up. 32, what am I doing? Oh, yeah, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. Okay, so those are my 8s. Now I have my 8s. I have everything I need. So I'm going to go over here now and take a look. Well, let me switch colors again. I'm going to use green. Okay. So my first question is the what question. You see that up there, Josh? So I say, what times 8 equals 6? Well, if I look here, even 1 times 8 is too big because this is a 1. But if I put a 1 here, then 1 times 8 is 8. That's too big. I cannot do that, so I have to put a 0. Now watch me touch it, Josh. 0 times 8 equals 0. What comes next? So look what I did. I did my divide, and I just touched it. I just multiplied. Now look what comes next. Tell your dad. Subtract, bring down. So watch. I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 0 is 6, and I'm going to bring down my 1. Okay? Now I'm at start over. See? And I even drew an arrow to show me to go back up to the top and say what again. So I'm going to. So I'm back up at the top, and I'm going to say what times 8 equals 61. So Josh, take a look over here. What do you think it could be? Remember, this is 1 times 8. There's 2 times 8, 3 times 8, 4 times 8, 5 times 8. Oops. 6 times 8, 7 times 8, 8 times 8, 9 times 8. Well, my problem is, if I go to this number right here, this is too big. I cannot do this one. No way. I have to go back one. So how many or what times 8 is in 56? The answer would be 7/8. So I write it up there. I just did the what again, remember? Now I need to touch it. That's the multiply. 7 times 6, I'm sorry, I messed up. 7 times 8 is 56. Okay, I multiplied. What do I do next, Josh? Tell your dad. Subtract, bring down. So look, I'm going to subtract. Now you have to be careful on this one because there's borrowing. Okay, 1 minus 6 does not equal 5. What you have to do is you have to borrow. So I'm going to cross out the 5, 6, and make it a 5. Remember, I have to borrow, make the 1 into an 11. 11 minus 6 is 5. So I guess we got lucky on this one. It does equal 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. So I subtracted, but I also need to bring down. So I'm going to bring down my 3 with my long arrow. See, Josh? I'm going to put my 3 right next to it. What's next? What do I do after I bring down? Tell your dad. Yes, I start over. It means I got to go back up to the top one more time and say what. So my next question is, what times 8 is in 53? Well, use your chart again. Let's look. Oh, it can't be 56. Too big. Got to go back one. 6. Next, I touch it. 6 times 8 is 48. I subtract. Remember, because after I multiply, I have to subtract. Need to borrow again. I know I'm going kind of fast on this part, but I'm just showing you because I want you to be able to do one more before we're done. Okay, 13 minus 8 is 5. I just subtracted. Now I need to bring down. But there's nothing to bring down, Josh. I have no more numbers. See? There's nothing over here to bring down, so that's how I know I'm done. My answer is 76, remainder 5. Okay, I'm going to switch back to you guys, and I'm going to let you do a problem, and I'm not going to say anything unless you get stuck this time. Okay, so I'm switching the presenter to you. There you go. Yep, I can see your screen, Josh. Good. So pull back up Paint. Yep, just click that. And I'd go up to File, New. If you go up to where that little, there looks like there's that blue thing that's highlighted and it's got a little arrow pointing down. If you click on that, you can go to File, New, and you can just make a new one. You also want to maximize your screen so that it's, yep, go to File. Yep, click that. And go to New, and then we'll say, do you want to save changes and put, no, just go to New. Go back up to New. Click. No, don't save. You can say don't save. There. Now maximize your screen, Josh. Make it so that it fills the whole screen. Go up to that thing that's between the X's. Yeah, nope, higher, higher, higher. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I think you had it. Maybe you do. Maybe yours is maximized. I don't know. It's okay. Okay, ready for the problem now? Actually, first I want you to write your letters, Josh. Write your letters over on the side. Do you remember what they are? Go over farther to the left to the right your letters, though. Go farther to the left, all the way to the left, because otherwise you're going to run in. Write your letters. Do you remember what they are? You're good, Josh. Just write it. Does. Remember? D. Oh, does. I don't know why you wrote an M. No, you have to write them going downwards, Josh. Erase. It's okay. Write a D up on top of the screen. Yeah. There you go. Does. Now right below, write an M. I know it's kind of hard to write without a pen, but does McDonald's sell burgers Sundays? And then draw a little arrow that goes back up to the D. From the S down there up to the D. Draw a little arrow. Yep, good job, Josh. Okay, perfect. Okay. Now over in that big white space, I want you to write 218 divided by 6. 218 Josh's dad, that's normal what he just did. When you hear the number 200, our brain wants to write a 2 and a 0 because we want to write the 200, and we don't understand that the 18, that's natural. Nope, Josh, you got to erase. It's got to be 218. There you go. That's better. Divided by 6. Remember to put your little multiplication sign in the corner. Right above the 6, write your little multiplication sign, remember? Yeah, you can't write it there, though, Josh, because it's right on top of the 2. I know it's hard to be accurate because we're using a mouse, so don't get frustrated. There you go. Very nice. Now, I want you to change colors, please. And I want you to write your 6s over on the side. Your dad can help you. Write your 6s. If you got to count on your fingers or whatever you got to do, write all your 6s. Write 6, 12, 18. Write it over on the side in that big white area. Yep, you got it. Go ahead and count on your fingers. Take your time. Josh's dad, make sure he can be able to actually do it. Try to write the 42 right there. Yeah, Josh, good. Take your time. Use your fingers if you have to.
I got it.
56, Josh.
Okay. That was 54.
Oh, no, it's 54. My bad. I don't know my own multiplication table. Sorry, Josh. I was spacing out. Change 56. My bad, buddy. It's 54. There you go. And then 60. Okay. All right, Josh. So what's your first question? Tell your dad. What times 6 equals 2?
2. 0.
Good. Touch it. No, go back up and touch it. I want to see you touch it. You need to practice that. 0. Touch the times. Times 6. 0 times 6 is 0. So write the 0 under the 2, Josh. Yep, subtract. Nice. Now bring down, remember? If you look at your letters over there, after the S comes the B. Subtract, then bring down. Now start over. That's why you did that arrow. Go back up to the top and tell your dad what the next what question is. Josh's dad, this is where you have to make sure that he knows how to use those numbers that are over on the side. That's kind of the key. It's okay. Take your time. In some ways, Josh, you're right, because guess what? Nothing times 6 equals... Nope, it's not 0, Josh. Yep, go back.
Yes.
Erase that 0 up on top, too. Okay, now Josh, stop for a second. I know your dad's probably explaining things to you too, but I want you to understand something, Josh. Your brain might be saying, how many 6s go into 21? And when you look up at those purple numbers you made, there is no 21. So your brain wants to say, there are none. There's 0. And your brain is right, but you want to remember, we have the Price is Right rule. Remember when I told you that story about how I was on the Price is Right game?
Yeah.
And the goal of that game is to get as close as you can without going over. So there is a way to get close to 21, right? Because 18 is as close as you can get. Do you see up there? You go 6, 12, 18, 24, but we can't pick 24 because it's too big. Remember in class how I sometimes point at stuff and everybody in the classroom shouts, no, stop, because we go too far. So the correct answer on the top should be 3. Yep, because how many 6s are in it? To get to 18, you need to go 3. There you go. Now touch it, Josh. Touch the 3. 3 times 6 equals 18. You need to write the 18 right below the 21. All right, now look at your chart. Look what you just did. You divided and you just multiplied. Yep, and now you know to subtract. Now be careful here, Josh, because you have to borrow or you have to count up. So just stop. Tell Josh to stop moving the mouse. Okay, Josh, look. You could borrow when you subtract, but it's easier to count up. So Josh's dad, help him understand that when you take 21 minus 18, it's easier to start on 18 and count on your fingers until you get to 21. Then he doesn't have to worry about the borrowing part. If he doesn't get that, he can borrow. I don't know which would be easier for him. So I'll be quiet until you guys figure out what 21 minus 18 is. Okay, so what's 21 minus 18, Josh? You should be down below the 18. You have to write what 21 minus 18 is. 3. Good job. Now bring down your 8. Remember, after you subtract, you got to bring down your 8. So go make an arrow, a long arrow. Yep. Good. Pull it down. Good job. Right and ready. Get a little farther, a little farther, a little farther. Stop. Make your arrow. Make your arrow. Good, Josh. And put your 8 right next to the 3. Put your 8 right next to the 3. Good. Now look where you are on your chart. You just were at the B. You just brought down. So you need to start and go back up to the top again. Go back up to the top. And tell your dad what the question is. The question is what? Tell him. What times 6 equals 38? So now go to your pink numbers. And you're right. Your brain's going to want to tell you, Josh, that 0, there is no 38. And you're right. There's no 38. But which one can get as close? Circle the number over by the pink numbers. Circle the one that's as close to 38 as you can get without going over. Which one's as close? Yep, I think you're going to get it. That one, right. Now, how many is that, Josh? How many 6s did you have to count? Dad, you can help him count his 6s to see how many he had to get there. How many did you have to count to get there? Go ahead and write that number on top when you know how many 6s you needed to get to 36. Because remember, the answer to the what question always goes on the top. So whenever you say what times this equals this, and you know what the answer is, you have to write it on top. So write the 6 up on top. Now touch it, Josh. While you're up there, touch it. 6 times 6, and then go down to the bottom and write what 6 times 6 is. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 6 is 36. Yep, good job, buddy. Now subtract. I know you're running out of space, but you'll be all right. Try to squeeze a 2 down there, because 8 minus 6 is 2. It's okay if you can't write it. It's hard to do. Now look, your next step is to bring down, but are there any more numbers to bring down, Josh? Nope, there's no more numbers to bring down because you're ready. So your answer is 36 remainder 2. So up on the top right, R2. Okay, thank you, Josh. You did a great job. I'm going to call you guys now and see how things went, okay?